Hello, everyone. It's the interview queen, Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to interview round 3 with Kate Nash. Hello.
Hi. Round
Hi.
3. Oh my
I
gosh.
know. I'm pumped. I was saying, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago I had you on for the very first time. I was a teenager. I really had no idea what I was doing, but you gave me your time, and so much time has gone past, and it's just really cool to see how each person's kind of come and how far everything's been. So yeah, I'm really psyched
Aw,
about this.
awesome. Thanks so much for having me back.
Of course. I feel like the appropriate question is just how are you doing and how have you been?
I know. I was just going to say it's good to see that you're well. Yeah, I'm okay. Like, up and down, up and down. The 2020's obviously been odd and balancing emotions and just kind of staying home a lot. And during that time, I did some writing and I started a Patreon. And towards the end of the year, I decided that I wanted to go on tour, but like outdoors in nature instead of in venues. And me and my boyfriend were doing these camping trips. So that kind of inspired that. And so I released Misery last week I think a week ago. And we sort of launched the Safely Out of the Bedroom tour. So it feels really good to be putting out music.
We're definitely going to be hitting on everything you just mentioned there. But before we do, I've got to ask, how much are you just absolutely loving rocking those bunny ears of yours?
Oh my God. I actually have them on the sofa if you want me to put them on at any point. Maybe I should get them.
Totally up to you.
I'm going to grab them.
I won't say no.
It's like, I should have had them on really the whole time. Let's do this.
They're the cutest things ever, though, and you pull them off. I love them so much.
They really like make you feel happier. Like wearing bunny ears really works if you're down. I really recommend it for like, you can kind of like plop one down. That's kind of a good way.
I like it. I'm gonna have to look into that just if I need a little pick me up throughout my day, because I remember the first time you sent out a picture and I was just like, man, not only is she rocking the look, but they're just so cute. Like it instantly makes you smile.
That's a thing. You know what? If you like wear a hat, I have another hat that's like these wool. It looks like a kind of, because for Halloween, me and my boyfriend went as our dogs. Oh. So I got this like husky-ish, wolfy-ish like hat. And I wear that in the winter. And it makes people so happy. If you just wear this in the supermarket, people will be like, they'll just laugh and like smile. And it's like a really nice thing to do, like make people happy.
Well, I definitely have to better my hat game for sure after this conversation. But we definitely have to dive into Misery, as this is fans' first taste of new music from you in nearly 2 years. So do you still get any nerves when sharing new music, or is it more so now just all about the excitement and the anticipation?
I sort of don't get nerves about that, but then like right before it comes out, I'm like, oh wait, I hope my fans like it. But then I feel like I sort of, wouldn't put something out unless I thought it was good. So that's maybe why there's gaps in between releasing things, because I just like to put out things that I really like. I don't get that nervous. I think it's more just like the feeling of like knowing how to measure what you're doing, because especially not being on tour in the traditional sense, it's difficult to know what's like, nothing's really like happening. Do you know what I mean? Like you put music out and then it's like, okay, I did that. So you just kind of have to keep self-promoting, which you feel like you just talk about all the time, but I think you just can't do enough of it. Like all the time being like
I'm shameless. I'm completely shameless about it.
You have to be.
There's so many people that they're also dropping tunes in whatever your industry may be. So it's almost like you have to keep yourself out there. You have no choice.
Exactly. And so it's like shameless self-promotion and just finding ways to keep fans engaged in this like strange time where you can't go on tour. So that's why the Patreon has been really amazing, because I can do special things for like my fans, and it just has brought us so close, which has been really amazing.
That's so lovely to hear. I mean, the first time that I heard the song, for me anyway, my takeaway is just about having someone's back no matter what, being there for others and even yourself, no matter when misery brings you down, down, down. So simply just my interpretation, though, that is the beauty of music. So for you, was there kind of a specific moment that sparked these lyrics?
Yeah, definitely. But that is the sentiment. I think what I have leaned into with the music that I wrote in 2020 is very direct. Like, it's not really mysterious what it's about. It's called Misery. And like, even when that middle section, like, I feel so emotional, I was just like, I'm just gonna say how I feel. Like, it's hard, you know, like, to keep going and keep picking yourself up through depression. And I was texting with a friend who was going through a hard time, and you know, we're both like dealing with the pandemic, and I was like, I'm gonna write a song for them. Like, I'm doing that now. I'm going to do it today because I can. And that's something I can do to help my friend, is like try and sort of like capture this feeling. It's like depression. It feels like it's coming for you. You know what I mean? And you're like, I don't want to be depressed today, but like, I just can't not be. And you just keep trying to like you just can't beat it, really. That's why I said, like, it's out to get you. It feels like a monster that's like, just like pinning you down. And you're like, I just can't do anything. I'm like, even if I wanted to, like, I feel like I can't lift this off of me. And then, yeah, like the lyrics, I would never leave you behind, even if the bridge was falling. I just like, I had all this quite dramatic imagery in my mind for the album. And I had this image on like a Pinterest board that was like I kept saving like bridges, like collapsing or falling, like dramatic images of like old, like black and white photos of bridges just like falling and stuff. And I was just thinking, like, it's that moment that
into a song.
yeah, and that moment where you're like, oh, the only option is this road out, and that's it. You're like in a movie or something, but your friend isn't going to make it in time, and it's like, well, I'm not going to run off without them. I'm going to stay with them, and we'll just face it together. We'll have to like face the monster together instead of me like running off. And it's about like never leaving them behind and being like, even if you're stuck back here with that monster, like, I'm going to face it with you.
I love the sentiment of that track. And the thing is, even though you did mention it is straightforward, the beauty of that is so many people can relate to it. So I'm really happy about that aspect of it, especially when I listen to music. That's always what I look for. So it's a really great song. It really is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And of course, you released the music video to accompany the release. It's just you dancing around in the snow. You have those super cool onesies and the t-shirts on. So
like how was it? No.
It was honestly, I'm going to get into it as well, but it was honestly just like a little homage in my mind to wrestling too. Like, it looked like a little spandex two-piece. So yeah, 100%. But how was it just putting that video together, having your own little dance parties? It was like the epitome of the perfect video you could do during all this madness and in quarantine.
Thanks. Well, me and my boyfriend shot it. So I directed and edited it, and he was like the DP, cinematographer. And that was so cool because before the trips, we were like, okay, I wasn't necessarily going to do the videos. And then I'm like, wait, we're going all this way. We're going to be in such a cool setting. I should do a music video here too. And so I just started storyboarding ideas. And I was like, first I was going to hire someone else to edit them. And then I was like, wait, like, I think I can do this. Like, I can learn how to do this. And just taking on that ethos of so many people and being inspired by how so many people in the pandemic have like learned new skills. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to do that. Like, I just spent hours on YouTube, because YouTube is amazing, by the way. You can learn anything. You can learn anything. Like, I've learned how to do all my editing. I've just learned from like YouTube videos. It's like such an amazing platform. It sounds like such a basic thing to say, but now I'm like, my favorite website is YouTube.
True.
It's so amazing. And I just spent hours on YouTube, like learning how to do things and getting tips. And we put together a little kit, a simple kit that we could just like use and like know how to use and not have to try too hard, but that could get some cool shots and like mix up the cameras a little bit, but still like very simple and compact. And then my boyfriend is a hairstylist and he works in fashion, and he's like been on sets loads, and he also has a bit of a passion for photography. So I was like, I know he's going to be able to do it. So we got a gimbal, and like, we would like talk through the scenes, and then, which I actually have made like episodes for like a mini documentary series about us like making it. And it was really fun to work together, you know, like, and it was kind of crazy because we were in the snow. So like, I'm like running in like a thong and like tights, and it was really cold. And like, I don't know why I really underestimated the snow, but
Yeah.
Tom was like, it's going to be really cold, and I was like, yeah, I know, but like, it was really cold. Like, I don't know why I just forgot that snow was freezing, but it is very freezing running around in no clothes in snow.
Well,
But that's
I'm
what you
glad
do for art,
Oh,
That's what you do for
100%.
art.
I'm glad you brought up the snow aspect though, because I really feel like it's been an overall theme for everything, including the live streams that you had mentioned prior. I know that you said that you and your boyfriend would kind of go out there once in a while and just on trips and everything. And it's a pretty bizarre place to be hosting a show or a concert, even if virtual. So would you say that's the strangest place you've performed, or does somewhere else, whether a venue or a completely random spot, come to mind?
Well, I have another live stream that will come out with my next song, and I performed at the Grand Canyon.
No way, that's incredible.
Crazy.
Wow.
So that was like at sunrise, and I was like, okay, I've got my guitar, I'm just going to play. And I'm like playing Foundations in the Grand Canyon. And I was like, just laughing. This is so bizarre. I'm trying to think of any other really weird. I mean, you always play like random places on tour, but like playing in nature is really fun because, I mean, it just is what it is, and this backdrop does all the work for you. And then like the snow, my fingers were like swelling up and like in pain towards the end. So I was not even like playing guitar very well, because I was just like, it hurts so much. But in a way, I just think that brings the hijinks of live music into the way on tour, when you go see a band, things are going to go wrong, and that almost makes the gig more exciting if things go wrong, because you feel like how they cope with it, and it brings you like closer to the audience in a way, because it breaks that spell. It's like when Beyonce sneezes on stage and everyone's like, oh my god, Beyonce sneezed. Because we know she's perfect, like we know she's an incredible dancer, we know she's an incredible singer,
she's also human.
We see a human element, we just freak out. And so I kind of embrace that charm of like, it is what it is. Like, my hands are freezing, but I'm still going to play this guitar and I'm going to get the song out.
Well, Foundations was mentioned there for a second. I just remember being in my room as a teenager, like bopping around to tracks like Foundations and Dickhead and just singing them over and over. Cool. Amazing just to see how much you've grown, because with success, of course, comes a bigger following. And with that comes some really interesting people online. So what would you say is one of the weirdest or funniest things you have read about yourself online over the years?
I actually made a zine where the back page of the zine was all the worst things that people have said about me online. And I made my friend do it, and she cried. Oh. Because she's really sensitive. And I was like, I'm so sorry I put you through that. But I almost wanted to do it as an experiment, because that whole keyboard warrior thing, I mean, you get really nice things. Like, obviously, everyone, like, loads of my fans call me mum. Like, that's the thing, which is so funny and cute. And you get a lot of marriage proposals online, and you get a little openness and like real depth. People's innermost secrets, like they'll just tell you so much, which is so cool and heartwarming. And then you get some like really impressive insults too, like creative insults. Like one of my favorite insults is the first one I remember getting on MySpace, because I was getting loads of nice messages, and then I got my first online insult. I've never forgotten it. Can I swear?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, good. So I got a message, and it said, "You are ... as the subject." And I was thinking it was going to be something really nice. And I was like, oh, I wonder like what this person thinks I am. And I opened it. So it was like, "You are ... everything that's wrong with music distilled into one slag. Why don't you go stick a bomb up your cunt and explode?"
Wow, that's a lot. Wow, oh my goodness, eh? And I read stuff like that, because I've honestly had stuff not far off from that. I'm just there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, and the crazy just people in general. But honestly, that's a lot.
That should win an award for like one of the most creative insults, I think. And also, it kind of helped in a weird way, because it was so ridiculous. I remember I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to learn to cope with stuff like this.
Yes.
And it was still I can get rubbed, even now after years, like I'll read something, I'm like, that's really fucking annoyed me. I'm like, I wish it didn't annoy me, but you just can't help but have a reaction. But this was almost so ridiculous. I was like, okay, imagine I'm in this boys, and I almost like think I know what he looks like because I visualized his room and his like corn posters on the wall and like his swingy like computer chair and just like, you know, just boy bedroom. And I was like, if I was in his bedroom and I had a bomb and I was going to stick it up my cunt to die in front of him, he would like piss himself and be crying and begging me not to do that. So this is ridiculous and this isn't real. And like people just say really weird things. They don't realize that they can hurt a person or
100%.
And even if they want to, like, that's a different thing. But like, I think a lot of people just casually throw stuff out online. And sometimes I really want to like sit down with them and be like, why did you say that? It's so like weird. But obviously he was just wanting a reaction, but I don't think I replied. But I've never, ever forgotten that, ever. Like,
No,
I've never forgotten that.
Even when you said it with confidence. Like you weren't even thinking back. You knew it word for word verbatim.
I can see the message. I like know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember that insult.
Well, I wasn't expecting that one, but it's a good one. You got to give them credit at least for creativity.
Exactly. I do.
The last thing I wanted to ask you about today is, of course, outside of music, we know you for your amazing work in Glow. And I also happen to interview wrestlers. I'm a TV host for a wrestling company. So I wanted to ask you, if you could have your very own in-ring persona, what would that be?
Oh my God. I think I would be a dog.
Okay.
I think I would be my dog, Stella, in the ring.
You already have the costume.
I've got the costume. I like learned how to do her face paint really well.
Oh.
I can send you a picture. Like my costume was really amazing. Like I literally had every little pattern on her nose and like had like a prosthetic nose. I was really proud of my Stella costume. And she's just I think she'd make an amazing wrestling character because she's so buff and strong and lean. And she's like a little crazy. You don't know what she's going to do. Like she might like freak out at something. She's got that like element of surprise and like wildness, wild card. When she was young, she could jump 10 feet. She's a boxer, like, so she can jump like crazy. So I like that element. I think like a lot of like jumping and like wild card elements. And then like, you know, classic dog, like do stuff to like freak people out, like just like pee in the corner of the ring to like mark my territory and stuff, and just really go for the whole like dog personality. I think that would be cool. But then they could easily distract me too. Like if they had a treat, I'd be like, like they could like that would be a fun thing to play off too, where I'm like really crazy and really wild, but then I'm like, ooh, bacon. Ooh.
You literally have an entire pitch ready to go.
Yeah.
We need someone to pick this up because I know a lot of people would watch it.
Exactly. I'm ready to go into wrestling at any moment. So
absolutely incredible. Well, I really do want to say thank you so much for taking the time for catching up today. It's been absolutely lovely being able to do this.
It's so nice to see you, and thank you so much for having me back again. Looking forward to number 4.
Oh, me as well. Everybody, this has been the absolutely lovely Kate Nash. Be sure to check out aliciatout.com, not only for our first interviews, but plenty more exclusive interviews and features. And we will see you all next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.